What's going on, everyone? Vampyr Gaming here today with Lucci. We're going to be talking about Lucci. I just got top 64 at the Gen Con regional. I played both Thursday and played on Saturday. I did not top on Thursday. It was very unfortunate. My games were just whatever. The deck kind of just fell apart on me, and it does happen. That is, of course, the downfall of playing the quote-unquote high-roll deck. But in this video today, we're going to kind of take a deep dive into all the cards, why we play them, why I chose the options that I chose. We'll also talk about some tech choices that others have, and just overall my thoughts on these cards. And then also after this event, both events, my thoughts on the deck going into Peoria and any changes I might make. So let's go ahead and dive in. We'll start off, of course, the Lucci leader. So I'll just run through my my matchups here first, actually. But so round one I played Dofi, I won. Round two I played Anel. I lost to Beige in life. It's Beige, but I say Beige because everybody says Beige. And then round three I won versus RP Law. That game was actually just insane. I played it the best I could with what I had, and the guy just saw worse. He drew into 6 of the 1-drops, and it just worked out for me. I remember that game distinctively. Round number 4 I got a W to Bonnie. Round number 5, W to Anel. Round number 6, I lost to Lucci in time. I did not slow play, so the opponent could have an opportunity to win. You're welcome, chat. R7, W to Anel. R8, W to RP Law. And then R9, W to RP Law. Shout out Kyle, because I played him round 8, and it was actually a really fun game. The Lucci leader allows you to trash 2 cards from the top of your deck and give your opponent's characters -1 cost for this turn. So this, the argument, of course, is Gecko Moria has consistency, because you can reliably get Moria for the majority of your games. Whereas Lucci, you of course can lose all of your top end, but you do get 1 extra minus inherently, which enables you to do a lot more destruction without wasting more resources. Where of course Moria does have a lot of value plays and can take a lot of different approaches. Just having that consistent minus really does have a difference in the gameplay, which is why I like Lucci. We, of course, have Spandine. 2 has been pretty standard across the board. But yeah, so Spandum, pretty standard. He lets you do the Spandum Lucci play, but also Rebecca Spandum Lucci. You can also go Spandum into a card, into Rebecca into a card, or Rebecca into Spandine to bring out something, so you can do double minus. There's a lot of combos enabled by this card if you have the appropriate trash. So like this card is a super strong combo piece, and he really is like playing 6 Luccis, because you can use these to bring out Lucci and just really like develop value. I'm a big fan of this card. And then of course we play the 3-cost Brook. 3-cost Brook, just this past weekend we saw somebody playing 4. I think one of the winners played 4 in their deck in one of the regionals this weekend, I believe. But somebody who top 8'd for sure had played one of these in the deck 4. And I get it, because I was considering cutting a 3rd one. We'll talk about that on a bit more later. But then, yeah, I, of course, played 2 Suru. I just changed the deck to... I just edited it. I realized that there was a mistake. I played 2 Kaku, and I paid 4 Spandum. So that's why there's that change you might notice. Suru, I played 2. I only played 8 2Ks, which is kind of crazy, but I played the 0 event, which counts as a 9. I would love to get more 2Ks in here. I think that was my biggest complaint. I did pull a 2K from life when I needed it the most, but it seems I blow through my 2Ks pretty quickly, and it gets pretty dicey in some instances, especially when people just start swinging 6 on you, because they do know we play a slim amount of 2Ks. And then, of course, a lot of people had asked me on my X post at Vampyr Gaming. If you're not already following me on X, definitely feel free to do that. But, yeah, Isho, Big Ish, He is really strong into a number of matchups. He's pretty much good. If you hit him on curve while you're healthy, because you're able to counter possibly like one attack, maybe block an attack for free. If you play him on curve while your opponent has 6 cards in their hand, absolutely back-breaking, especially if they didn't play around it. This card is just so strong. And then if they can't answer it, you just win. Like yellow, if you play this in one of my Enel matchups, I played a Moria first before playing Isho. They had like 8 cards in hand, so it wasn't even a worry. And Isho was still really good as long as I was able to apply enough pressure to make them have low value in playing their large drops. And then also making Raigo expensive. So I did that. I believe I had played Moria, and then they had did something like playing Flampe to take 1, draw 1, upping their hand size, and then playing Raigo so that they could Raigo for free, removing my Moria. And then I believe they had 1 in the trash, so I was like 2 Raigos out of the way. I was then able to apply a bit of pressure on their life, and then drop this Isho to make it to where they can either make value, or they had to remove it that turn, or else it was over for them. Like, and because then I could just pressure, put them at 0, and then they'll never be able to remove it. So they had to have removal that turn. But yeah, so any 9 could be KO'd by a Kaku on things like that, which is absolutely phenomenal. And I just, yeah, in the end, I established 2 big bodies, and I was just able to keep pressuring. Then I came out on top. But yeah, then we also have Kaku. A lot of people are opting to cut this and just play Finger Pistol. I will talk about that later. But I opted to play Kaku just because I really like the body on 5. And then if Law makes me go first, this is a really strong body to play without losing my Lucci. So if I don't see stage, I can swing 5, -1, and then I can KO. But again, Finger Pistol can do a similar thing. You can just pay 4 KO. And then, but you don't get the body, and you don't force out a Gordon. So I like this a bit. I'll talk about my thoughts on the change if I would make the change later. But yeah, that's pretty much why I played this body. Yeah. And then for Khalifa, this card is the best 2K. It lets you filter. You can do a Rebecca Spandam, Khalifa on a Spandine, and just do like a huge value play, search, and then draw 2, trash 2, gets rid of some bricks, and just try to get into some counter when you need it. It's also a decent turn 4 play if you don't have the removal, or the removal isn't super worth against RP Law, because then you can either they leave this body and then you have it, because it is still a 4K, it's a decent swinger, and then you can establish something else, or you know, they just get rid of it. But it's also great for that matchup, so you can put a Lucci in the trash if you're gonna Moria on curve. So it's great for setting things up, because we don't have a way to really just put Lucci in the trash like you did in Gecko. And Spandam, he's the searcher, he does what he does, but a lot of people have been cutting back on Sabo. Some people have been playing Borsellino. I played Sabo because I really like Sabo, especially like if you establish a board and your opponent can't respond to all of it, then you follow up with a Sabo and something else. If you go like Lucci Sabo, you just get 2 big bodies that are protected, and then whatever body you have left over, and you can really apply a lot of pressure, since Lucci's basic strategy is to prevent damage before you end up taking it. I think this card defines the mirror. And Lucci is still relatively popular, so I think it's super important that they play this. Again, Boris will stay. They can never remove Boris, which is a huge plus, and they have to 1-Don up to swing into him. So he's very strong in that instance, but I do just like the Sabo. I like the hand filter as well. It is very nice. I did play around with Boris for a time, but like I found I was just never going second, if you know what I'm saying. So it is what it is. But yeah, so I just cut Boris. We'll talk about Boris later too. But yeah, I really liked for Sabo. Same with for Rebecca. Even if you're playing Boris, this card is just so strong. It gets you any card. It lets you play Brook. Playing Brook off of this into a KO. Like if you're at 4 Dawn, you have a Brook in the trash, you have stage, you can leader swing -1, and then -2. Play this, get the Brook, and still KO something against like Doflamingo or pretty much any deck that plays 4s, which is a lot. For Lucci, he needs no introduction. For Gecko, needs no introduction. Brook kind of became popular again here. I think early lists of Lucci had this, but then they moved away from it. But this card gets around Sabo, so it's really good in the mirror. Gets around Borsellino, really good there. So against like Perona. And then also this card is very good against Bonnie, because they play Rosinante, but you can still trash that bad boy because it doesn't KO. And then I do just want to circle back to Isho. Isho is very good against everything but RP Law. Very good against everything but RP Law. RP Law, you'll never play this card, is absolutely dead, which is also, again, why I like that filter, because I get this out of my hand. If there's a position where I can play this, I should already win. Then yeah, Kaku 2K. This card is actually a really good minus facility. Sometimes I'll play Spandine to play this out because I don't want to hardcast this. But one of my Bonnie matchups, I did have to hardcast this to do enough minus to Zoro. I should have also established a Moria the turn before, but I opted not to, and I fully don't understand why. Like, I understand why, but I couldn't remove, because then it was like, if he plays Zoro, I'm in a bad spot. But if I had played the Moria, I could have KO'd things, and I still could have answered the Zoro, but I couldn't answer Zoro with the Moria, so my Morias got delayed, and I had 3 of them in my hand. And so I was like, never would I've ever thought I'd just be stuck with these. I thought I'd be chaining them, but it is what it is. But I was able to use this to get the minus to where I needed, and then I hit him with the Kaku. So I went this, the stage, leader, and then went Kaku to remove. But yeah, and then we got Stussy. So this is a one of. This is a one of. Once again, dead in RP Law. Very good against Bonnie. If they do a 10 drop and then you do this and remove it, even if they chain 10 drops, you're still in a very strong winning position. And if you're able to remove that one too, you pretty much just win, because it does cost them everything to do the 10 drop. And so this card is very good in that instance. It is also decent in the mirror or against black, because you can answer a Gecko, which takes a lot of pressure off of you, while also playing a 9, which is just a tad bit harder to remove than a regular Gecko, because stage, swing, Helmeppo doesn't answer this. They do need another card to facilitate a minus, whereas you can go stage, swing, Helmeppo to remove him. I've also seen people up this. I don't know how I feel about it. I think 2's still good, because you got this and Suru, but it is nice to get this in the trash. I did start playing 6 King Pistol again. I had it in my earlier builds, and I missed it a lot, mostly because it lets you get rid of the stage or even put a Lucci in trash. This is like the one card that lets you put cards in trash from your hand without having to spend Dawn, right? Like, I think on a 6, I gave them this and a Lucci just for the purpose of my Lucci in the trash. Then we got this, your standard minus, really great card. One thing that I learned about this is it's actually, I figured this was pretty much dead versus RP Law, but I actually started using this a lot against RP Law. I would start my games just by using this to draw, and I think in some matchups that's okay, but I actually would load up, if I had the Spandum in my opening hand, I could load up enough to start using this, and I could use this plus stage to facilitate very strong removal plays, and I actually ended up really liking it. There were times where I would just, do removal with Lucci, and so then I wouldn't have a ton of trash, or in theory I shouldn't have a lot of trash the whole game, but I was playing it slightly different to build up my trash, because you got to be thoughtful in your Luccis too, because they're gonna bottom deck them, and so you want to make sure you're getting valued cards. So if they play like Bond Clay, I don't want to remove that if I don't have a big body on board, and just small things like that. So I really actually started to like this for the mirror. And then I'm playing 4 stage just because you want to see it. I had like 3 games on Thursday where I didn't see them. But yeah, those are the reasons for my deck choices. Let's go ahead and take a look at the techs. Alright, and so in terms of cards that I've seen teched, Kuzan I don't think is good. I haven't seen any lists that play him well. So I don't think Kuzan, like, I like the thought of Kuzan, like, you play Kuzan in 4 if they can't respond, like, it's cooked, and he replaces himself and generates instant value. Big fan, but I think it's just too easy to clear. And, like, it's just so, like, I wish he was still, like, good. Borsellino. Okay, so this one, of course, big card. A lot of people I heard about this weekend were playing like 3, 2. I was playing 1 to 2 at one point, but then ended up cutting him just because, like, he's really good on 4, phenomenal on 4. He's any other turn, and you have to play 3 to 4 to consistently see him for that turn, and I just don't think that value is worth it. I do like the card. I do think it makes it, like, like, I think it's just based on, if you win dice rolls a lot, pop off, Borsellino might be the card for you, but he just wasn't for me. And I don't think there was, I played 2 Luccis, and I think I ended up going first in both of them. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't really keep track, but I think I went first in both of them. So, yeah, just get, and everybody's playing Brook, right? Like, I'm not super sold on this card, but I understand why. Now, this one I thought was super interesting. I know I saw one person who topped teching one of these. It's super interesting because you can return 2 cards to your trash and pay 1 Dawn. So this card costs 2, but you can return 1 3 to 5 character from your trash to your hand, which can get you Rebecca. So it was, you could man-sherry Rebecca into Lucci, but so now you can man-sherry into a Rebecca, which can grab a Spandine, which can play out Lucci for free, and then you could play another form of minus with that other 4 Dawn and have a super explosive play. I don't hate it. I do think this card also becomes relevant with Blackbeard on a slight tangent. So I picked up 2 alt arts. So spoilers. It's probably going to be my next Market Watch video. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button while you're here, because you don't want to miss that. But, yeah, I think this card is really solid. I think it makes sense as, like, a tech 1 of if you have the space, because it can pretty much get you, it gets you Rebecca, it gets you Lucci, it gets you a removal card. It can fetch a lot of pieces that you might need. And then Nightmare Luffy, or Monkey D. Luffy. This card trashes a card. It's a tech 4 black-yellow Luffy. Lets you continually trash, so even when they play their Moria, and then spit out the Sabos, you can remove them and keep their board clear of that pressure and continually gain value off of him as long as you protect him. But then on top of that, once you have a big trash, he can also go in for that final swing, so he can trash a blocker while going in for the knockout. And then Sabo. So why do I not play Sabo? I don't play Sabo because this card is really good into RP Law. He's just okay into everything else. It is another card to facilitate a trash. He does remove 2, so it makes it easier to move like a Zoro and things like that. You don't have a lot of minus. You can just go stage leader, and you'll need one other thing. So if you have like a Brook on board, you can do that. But yeah, really strong potential here. I'm a fan of it if you think you're going to play a lot of RP Law. If not, it is what it is, But yeah, I've never seen this card be like phenomenal. But it can, like, if you do a Tempest kick, leader swing, you can KO Lucci and a Gecko, and it answers it while also not using your own Gecko. So then if they use another Gecko to respond, you can Gecko them back. And of course, the hottest card, Shigen, this is just regular, it's Finger Pistol. You trash 2 cards of your deck, then KO 5 costs. So this lets you on 7, you can remove their Hawkins, which is the main reason you play this, but there are instances where Kaku can remove a 3, Lucci can only remove a 2. You can use this to remove a body, load up your trash as well, and then you can get rid of 5 costs Kid. You can get rid of pretty much anything. If they played Edward Weevil, you're like, okay, I don't have stage, boom, finger, bow, and just get rid of it. So yeah, there's that. And then Ice Age. I think this card has potential. And again, at the end of this, I'll kind of talk about any cards that I might add in. But yeah, Ice Age, a really good card. It was played in Moria as a 4 of. It still is. You pay 1 and you minus the character by 5. which pretty much allows you to remove pretty much anything. It can be used for like Gecko, and you don't have the trash requirement. Really good against Enel, really good against just a lot of different things that plays a big body. But even if you just don't have a way to facilitate minus, this can help you just kind of cross that and really just answer 2 big bodies instead of just one if you're like on the behind. My friend Alex was using this, also Grayson was as well, and we both of them have topped events playing this. I think this card has the potential and could be seen on the rise in the Lucci builds. And then of course Air Door. Air Door spits out, you get to essentially mill 4 and play a 5 cost or less. You could do this to bridge into Kaku, which is the biggest value, while also loading up the trash. But with people moving away from Kaku, I don't think this card is phenomenal. Now, with all of these cards in mind, let's just go back to the Lucci deck and talk about any changes I would make. First off, I think Spandam can be cut and put at 3 for Brook, because a Brook is just really good. Brook actually puts a lot of work when you establish it on board. If not removed, he gets a ton of momentum on your side. And can be used to just answer a lot, or even the minus. Like this 1 minus goes a long way too. I've used this minus to be able to clear a board before, so it really helps out. I've seen people upping their count. I think if a first card I would call flex space would be Spandam. If I wanted to play 4, I would probably consider Stussy. I think Stussy is flex space. I think 4 Gecko, 2 Isho is enough, but I would like to play more. Just because like Enel is gaining popularity once again. You can just get lucky and win. It's one of your win cons. But yeah, I think either of those could be replaced. Like if you wanted to cut these for 2 Ice Age, you can of course cut Kaku and play the Finger Pistol. It is searchable, and it loads up your trash while also removing big bodies and can answer the Hawkins, which can be big. Or even like, can remove the 5 cost kid before it gets out of hand because you just don't want to waste your Lucci yet. There's a lot of potential with the card. So yeah, my thoughts. I think I would like to play 1 more Brook. Maybe I would love to find a way to get a little bit more 2Ks in here, because I was struggling just a little bit on that 2K front. And if I had like a 2K in hand, it drastically changed a couple of games throughout this weekend. I would never cut a Khalifa. But yeah, I think first things first thoughts, flex space, Dusty. And there is an argument if you just wanted to cut these, play like Ice Age, then play Sabo. Sure. But yeah, me personally, I think I would like to play 1 more Brook. Maybe even try, maybe cut this, put Brook, put Finger Pistol. Maybe cut 2 of these, put 2 Finger Pistol. I saw somebody playing 1 and I think 4. I think all of those are solid, because like Rebecca is just that strong. And then as long as you get your stage, you're in there. But yeah, as always, if you could do me a favor, 80% of my subscribers are not subscribed. You just hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a ton. And as always, thank you so much for watching.